Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with our next topic, which is architecture of SAP host agent. Okay, we will see in this topic what is a host agent and why do we need a host agent in SAP Solution Manager and what is the objective provided by host agent. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, host agent actually is a tool that you can use for monitoring and controlling of SAP instance and non-SAP instance. So basically it's a SAP application component need to be installed in your managed systems, basically on the systems that you want to manage. So in SAP, from SAP Solution Manager perspective, the systems that you want to manage is called managed systems, and you installed host agent in them so that they can send the monitoring and controlling data from the managed system into Solution Manager. Okay, so that is the main objective of host agent. Okay, so it controls both SAP and non-SAP instances, operating systems and databases. And whenever we do a new installation, especially from the newer versions, it gets installed automatically whenever we are doing either an installation or when we are going for an upgrade. It gets bundled together with it, and just one precondition is there: you need to have a kernel 720, which is the case in most of the time. Okay, and there are few instances when you need to install it separately. Either that system is not running SAP. Okay, so you can manage the non-SAP system as well using this component, and as we have said that this gets installed in the managed systems. So SAP can manage both, means Solution Manager can manage both SAP and non-SAP systems. So wherever the SAP component is not there, you need to install this host agent so it can send you the monitoring data. Okay, second thing is if your kernel release is below 720, okay, then in that case host agent doesn't get installed automatically. You need to install it manually, and in case if you have upgraded your SAP system to a release with a kernel release lower than SAP kernel 720, okay, so in that case you need to install it manually, this particular component called host agent. Okay, here you can see a brief architecture of SAP host agent. Okay, this slide basically showing information about, this is your Solution Manager and this is the host agent. Okay, normally the size is the other way around, but in this particular case, because we are focusing on host agent, so this is a bigger size shown here so that we can show you the details of the host agent component. Okay, so you can see that this has different component. One of them is SAP host exec. Okay, then you have SAP OS collector. Okay, so these are two main components. Apart from that, you have SAP host control and SAP start serve. Okay, so these are actually the main components of host agent: host exec, OS control and SAP start serve. Okay, so let's see the details of these three main components of SAP host agent. Okay, SAP host exec. Okay, this is actually an executable program that runs with the root ID in Unix system and with a local system account under Windows machine. and it controls all of the functions for which a special user of this type is required. Basically, it controls OS collector, that is SAP OS collector. It controls SAP AC OS prep, and it is connected to SAP start serve in host mode. Okay, so as you can see that this is one of the main components. So whenever we install HostAgent, this is the main component. Okay, let's go to the next component, which is SAP OS collector, and it's called as SAP OS call. This is actually a standalone program that runs in the OS at background. So whenever you do check for any SAP process, you will find this particular component, and it collects data about operating system resources, including usage of virtual and physical memory, CPU utilization of disk space in the system, and other information like different processes which is running in the system, and all the information which is required by the solution manager from the managed system. So this component collects all the information. As the name indicates, it's a collector from the OS level, so it is SAP OS call. Okay, now the next component you can see is SAP host control. Okay, you have seen that this is one of the very important component. Whenever SAP is running, this process keeps running in the host mode, and this runs with the user called SAP ADM user. Okay, so the profile which is used, so whenever this runs, it requires a profile, and that profile has two main components called CSM-conf and SAP CC-MSR.ini. So these are the two main components which is defined, and there is a profile file called host_profile in which we store these two components. Okay, so whenever we do an installation, we need to define the parameters for this, just to make sure that it basically ensures that you need to just modify these parameters only which are stored in this file, and you don't have to worry about the other executables. Okay, so as we have seen that SAP host agent is a tool which is used for monitoring and control of SAP instances, not only for SAP but for non-SAP instances as well. So in the subsequent slide we will look at how do we install it, from where we can download it, how we can upgrade it, in case if we need to uninstall it, how we can uninstall it. Okay, so this is pretty much I wanted to cover in this particular topic. Thank you for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.